Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing excellent at your end. So this is the fifth session of our School of AR session, and today we are going to learn about word object with audio. And this is the best step you are taking out because you can unleash your creativity with us. And for unleashing your creativity today, we have our expert speaker, Mr. Naveen Upadhyay, so who will be taking you further for the steps, and you can learn and you can implement the steps with him in the Spark Your tool itself. So please follow him for more updates. And if you have any doubts in between, so you can we will be happy to take your doubts in the end of the session. So please stay tuned and happy learning. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Lakshit. Just to correct that, we have a session today on the native UI pickers. We covered the audio world objects yesterday. So today we're gonna work on native UI. And quickly, I'm just going to forward a link to you, Lakshit, and that you can post in the chat. Hi, Sahil. Very good evening. How are you doing? And this is Hey, Avinash. Hello, Aman.
Okay, so is there any link you want me to share to the community?
Yeah, I'm just going to give you in the private chat that you can share.
Yeah, perfect. So let me see. Yeah, perfect. Got it. Copy. So guys, you can get a reference from this. I have already shared it with you in the comment section. So please open this drive link and you can get a reference from here. Okay. Perfect.
Well, all right. I think you've already got the link, and click on this link, and you'll find native UI picker unfinished project, which has some textures into it, and that's it. So it has some textures into it, and we're gonna work on that today. And with those textures, we're gonna make some native UI picker, and we'll go through what is native UI picker in a moment. There's an announcement today. So that announcement is that I think I partially revealed it a little yesterday, which is about the assignment that you will get, or you have probably gotten already. But if you haven't, then you'll probably receive it. The announcement is that they're going to be prizes if you submit your assignment, and those the best of the assignment, which are good in terms of creativity, in terms of all the checks that we want to test in the assignment, because the assignment is quite detailed what you have to do. And whoever wins, there are three prizes. So the first prize is 5,000 rupees Amazon voucher, and I think second is 3,000, and then third prize is 2,000 worth rupees of Amazon vouchers. And that you're gonna get if you are selected and your assignment is meets all the checklists from them. So all the best. um, just to be sure, yep, it is 5,000, 3,000, 2,000. So three prizes. And all right, Aman, the announcement is done today, so you will probably get the assignment by the end of today. The assignment I shared yesterday a little bit about it. If you want, I can also share it today. It's gonna be in fact, where you are on a planet and it's always raining, so you have to make rains. So you have to use particle systems to do that. Then you have to have a knowledge of what is rendering first and what is rendering behind. So these things combined, you have to make that effect. So if you haven't received it, don't worry. We will make sure that you get it soon, because we want you to learn and work on them and claim your prizes. Work on them. All right. Let me share the expectations from today's session, and just gonna share my screen. All right, so we have a couple of textures which are like a diamond emoji, and there's a heart emoji, there's a cake, cupcake emoji, and then we have a star emoji and this flower emoji. We'll put these emojis over our eyes, and to change those emojis, we will use these native UI pickers, which like couple of filters. If you have seen on Instagram, they have like couple of sliders at the bottom, and then when you select them, there's some changes based on that. And so we're gonna do that. It's a pretty very simple effect. So it's gonna be a very short session today, but we can utilize the time to probably answer your questions or any doubts that you have regarding everything that we have learned until now. And also, if you have explored more and if you have any doubt, you can just ask today after the completion of the session, because it's pretty simple setup, and we'll try to maximize what we can learn from this. So when I change these pickers, it kind of reflects on my eyes because I've put them on my eyes, and I'm going to start that now. If you open the unfinished project, it looks like, no, this is a finished one, I think. Okay. Um, if you open the unfinished project, it is already set up that, what are my planes, where am I putting them, but I'm going to delete everything and start from scratch. I'm going to delete everything. There's nothing that we're going to keep, only the textures, that because anyways you just have to import it. So this is just like a very empty project. And why do we need native UI picker? What is the need to have a? Why can't we just use screen interactions and then just change it? Sometimes it's better to show a thumbnail of something that your user is going to experience. So if we have a thumbnail of an image that we're gonna say that like it's gonna change if you switch it from this option to this option, then probably it's better that our users can anticipate what's going to change. So that's the main motto of having a native UI picker, that that users can choose which UI they want. And we can use these UI pickers to change your background, change your elements that are on the face, any element that you want. So in a couple of minutes, I think you will be able to um, work with it. Could you confirm me in the chats that you've gotten the link? Is there any problem in downloading that um, link? And then this is right here, and this is the native UI picker that you have to download, and we're going to work on that. So confirm me in the chats once you have received it. Shaker, what will be the deadline of the assignment? I think the deadline of the assignment is going to be revealed with the assignment when you get in the email. So you will know. You will know. Okay. Once you've imported, probably delete everything. Delete everything from here as well. Keep the basic setup. This is the basic setup that we get. We get a device and a camera and a focal distance and the lights. You may need the lights. You may not need the lights, depending on what kind of material are you using. It's a 2D effect, but still we could use those lights to, let's say, move your face, and then the light can impact the texture, like how it's looking. So we probably keep the lights for this one, because all the other tutorials we were not actually using the lights. Actually we were with the 3D objects we were, but for the 2D objects we have not really used them. So we will try to use a physically based material today instead of a flat material that we were using earlier for our scene objects. So my expectation is that I want to put something on my eyes. That means I need a face tracker, because the eyes are children of the face tracker. They're part of the face. If my face moves, my eyes moves. So they're like children of that. And all right, that's great to know. Everybody has imported and downloaded the textures. So the face tracker is right there. You just click on the plus icon or click on the focal distance and add object. Any which ways you want to add a face tracker. Once you add the face tracker, This face tracker tracks the face one, face number one, and let's say if there are two users in the scene, and you want to have those objects on both of them, then what you need is you need another face tracker. So we can have two face trackers. So face one tracks the face tracker tracks the face one. So I'm gonna just name it like, or the face tracker one tracks the face number two. Okay, so I'm gonna rename it to this track number two, and this one to as track. Oh, okay. This one to maybe tracker number one. So now whatever happens, I my face will be tracked as well, and the other face number two will be as well. Now, if I click on the face tracker number one, I see that those lines are there. And when I click on number two, it doesn't detect it because this is going to track number face number two. And if the face number two is not there, then there's nothing. It's not even activating right now. So if I have any video which is like a two faces, which has two faces, so this video has like three faces, but they seem so far from here that they're not even detecting. So let's try something else. This seems a bit far as well. So yeah, I think that can work as well. No, this is pretty far. Pretty far, as in this is pretty far in the scene that the face is too small to be detected. So probably that's the reason that it's not being detected. This one is being detected to this face is one of the face, and the face number two is also detected to one of so this one is my face number two, and this girl is face number one. Now this guy would never be assigned a face, but if I take a face tracker three and assign it to face number three, then I will also have this guy tracking somewhere. Seems like it's a bit far, so the basically it's not detecting it, but that's the main concept. Currently, we're just gonna work with face number one, face tracker. You can rename it to anything. Renaming is just like based on your preference and choices. And I'm gonna come back to my simulator. Once I have the face tracker, now I can add childs to this tracker, and that means that I can add some objects which can be a plane or a 3D text or 2D text, like whatever. If I add a 3D text, the text gonna come and always gonna track the face. But I'm gonna add a plane. That plane can hold a texture that I want to put somewhere. Like I'll place that plane at a particular position, and I'll assign some texture to it. That's my main goal. So before, like when you make filters, that's how you think that okay, I need a face tracker, then I need a plane, and that plane can be situated somewhere on my eyes. So I'll bring down this. Okay, I can call this plane as I want to put it to my left eye. So I'm going to call it left eye. And I'm going to bring down this face tracker into the scene. And when I bring down the face tracker into the scene, this is almost similar to just clicking on the face tracker and creating a producer patch. So if you create a producer patch, this will create like these things. Same thing. Like if you even if you do that from here, drag it here, this will also do the same thing. And when you click here, there are like a couple of things that it says like, okay, what do you want to do with it? What kind of producer patch do you want? Do you want your mouth open? Do you want your eyebrow raised or blink? So if I click on blink, what it does is that this was a producer patch and it just connects the blink patch to my face tracker. So which we can also do manually, right? And we have learned that already. So why not try doing things manually first? And once you're well versed with what lies and where, then probably to save some time and you want to be like quick on something like okay, I want to detect a blink, then just click on the blink and then it just saves you a few clicks in the patch editor. For now, for the learning sake, we will create this producer patch, and this producer patch is going to work for index number 0, and this face tracker gives me a face output like this face. What do you want to do with this face? This face can have like a lot of things. You can blink, you can You can open your mouth. You can add some interaction to this face. Also, this gives me a 3D position, a 3D scale of the face, like where is the face right now, correct? And then if I move it, then those position can be used somewhere else. Similarly for 3D rotation as well. And this should give me a position. It's not giving me a position. Think probably have to restart it. Yeah. So I'm going to delete everything again, just to where we had our initial setup, to also delete this material. We have our initial setup again, and that's my plane, and it is scaled. I'm going to keep it to 1 1 1. So this is what we had earlier. Now this face is giving me the position, correct? This is giving the scale, and this is the rotation, like in which direction I'm actually rotating my face. So this plane, I'm gonna again call it a left eye. Second. um, my left eye, and I want to place this somewhere. So to that placement, this is face position already. So this position is what this eye also has automatically, because this is a child of this. So my face moves, this eye moves already. But to move it at a particular position at my face, let's say eyes, so I need that particular position of the eye. Now, what you can also do is that you can possibly just move it manually where your eye is, that you can do, and then it will be right there always. I'm going to control Z and not do this. But also there's a position you can get for the eye also, because Spark provides that also. So because this can be so much different for all the users. Some people have bigger face, some people have like smaller face, and then so how do we decide like where the eye is? And then some people might have like a bigger forehead and the smaller eyes, and then so it's better to let the camera tell you that information, like where the eye is. So this face can have like a lot of interaction, like face landmarks, which is, if you go to face landmarks, there are like cheek, chin, eyeball, eyebrows, eyelids, and forehead, mouth, and nose. So we're more mainly concerned about the eye for now. If you click on the eyeball, it says that it captures the 3D position of the eyeballs, like iris or um, left eye rotation. There are a couple of things that it gives you. We're gonna go with the eyelid. So if we take out the eyelid, and eyelid is this eyelid, okay, and I think everybody knows what eyelid is, and um, this eyelid left eye center should give me the the center of the eye. Okay, so if I put my position of this left eye to this guy, this if I connect this position, then this is gonna shift to my left eye. This seems a bit bigger to me right now, so I'm probably gonna make it to 0.5, 0.5, and 0.5. So if you see, this is covering my eye all the time. No matter what happens, this is gonna be on my eye, no matter how I move. And so that's my position of the eye. And next thing I want to do is I want to duplicate it. Just click on it and duplicate it. When you duplicate it, and just rename it to right eye. Now, the if you notice that the left eye and the right eye, our axes are, we're talking about the position. This is x axis, this is y, and this is z. Okay, z is the depth and the, like, how far am I from my camera, or my, yeah, from my camera. So if this is the, let's say this is the center of the face, okay, and if this is my y, so my y distance for this and this is going to be the same. My x distance for this will be the negative of whatever I have of this. Like if I'm a 1 point here, then this is my -1. All right, for an example, the z is also 0 for both of them. Like it's gonna be the same, like, because nobody will have an eye here and eye in here except Tom and Jerry, like the cartoons. So the I, they are always in the same level. They're never like one ahead and one behind. So Z is also same. The only thing which is changing is the X. So we could always, use the same position and just multiply the X by -1, and we'll get the that position. So we could do that. Or simple way to do that is that right eye center is also here. So we can just take out this position and take this right eye center position to here. And then my both of my planes are well situated over the eyes. And next thing to do is that assign them something. So both of them can have a same texture. So I'm going to select both of them by using control. Both of the eyes are selected. I'm going to add a material to them. This is a common property for them because both of them both of them will be both of them will have the same material. Um, just to Aman says better is dynamic eye position than static eye position. It's not going to be static. It's going to be dynamic also if you manually move it, because you're moving something inside. Take an example of a train. So if you're moving in a train, and if you move from one seat to another seat, it's you're with respect to the train, you're still static, all right? But from a outer perspective, you have moved, you're moving, right? So similarly, like with my face tracker, these things are static inside, but so they're gonna follow always wherever I put them manually as well. But this is better. We can use this position for, I mean, for some cases um, where you might need this position to an object which is not inside the face tracker, then these are useful. So it's better to, get a habit of using these positions directly rather than moving them. Okay. The next question is from Aman. What if we tilt the head a little? Yeah, tilt your head a little. My entire face is moving, right? So with respect to however changes I'm making in the Y, also making everything. So the delta is always zero, right? So Y has no changes. I mean, Y will not be changed like that, even if you tilt your head. So like if I know I understand your question. You're thinking like if I'm tilting, then this is at a higher position and this is a higher position. But higher position from an outside person who is not sitting in the train. Somebody who's sitting in the train, the entire train is moving, right? The entire train has been rotated. So your seat is also has been rotated like that. So the why would not change for these. Okay. I hope that's clear. And we will try to assign something to these guys like this material. So let's go to the material. Let's call it eye texture, and we we click on this material and we access its property. Right now it's standard material. Now what did I tell you about standard and flat? There's not much difference. The big difference is that the standard material, it reacts with the lights. We have the lights in our system. How the lights are situated? Lights are like, take an example of sun. How sun is there, and sometimes you know how the shadow moves. Like if the sun is directly shining on you, you might be like, reflecting some lights back. But if you're tilted a little bit, then maybe some part of you not getting the light. If the light is coming towards me like that, and I'm looking at this direction, when my this part is not getting the entire light, right? So similarly, if you look at this, if I look up, it's brighter. If I look down, it's a little less brighter because my lights are here. These are my lights. This is my light. This is my direction light, and this is ambient light. Ambient light is, I think, not physically available, but this is the direction light. You could change the rotation of this light, like just changing the position won't matter. Uh, but if you rotate it, you will see that the light is reflecting. Correct? It's reflecting on the texture. So I'm gonna keep the default rotation for now. This is a default rotation -45. This is so from straight. This is -45 in X, and maybe a little bit rotated in Y. So uh, this we understand now. That's why is it reflecting with that? And if I change this material to flat, then it is going to be white because the color is white. And no matter how much you move, no matter what you do with it, it's gonna be white always because it's not reactive with the environment, with the lights we have. Even if you delete these, it's not gonna change. But for standard, it's gonna change. For standard, if I put it on standard, if I delete these lights, it's gonna be black because there's no light in the system. It's always gonna be black, no matter what. All right, like its color is white, but still, because you can't see something if your lights are turned off. Your room will always be dark. Okay, so I'm gonna bring back those lights again and put this on flat. Now we have discussed about flat. We've discussed about the standard. Let's talk about the physically based material today. So, if you notice that the physically based material is like it has a you see reflections in it. Like if I move my head, let me try to refresh it. If I move my head, because right now the metallicness is not much. Like if I move my head, it's sort of like it sort of sees the source of light in the reflection. So basically, it's a reflection. So take an example of like um, your glasses. Okay, your glasses are sometimes too shiny that you see that when you look at that person you see yourself because those are shiny, those are reflective. So these three properties are responsible for that to happen. So the metallic property is that how much metallic, how much shine do you want. So if you're making something robotic or like robots or like sci-fi, so you probably want like a lot of shine on your. This is like super shiny. This is like completely metallic. Like whatever rays comes on it, it's gonna reflect everything. So if you see that, like it's gonna be super metallic. Like everything that lights, it's gonna be like super metallic like that. And if I increase the roughness, if you increase the roughness, so the surface either can be shiny or it can be rough. If it is rough, then it's going to absorb all the light and it's not going to emit anything. So if you put a roughness 100%, then the metallicness will not be like it's not going to be metallic has to be like shiny, like so slippery. Like if you walk on it, you'll just fall down. So the metallic properties were put on 0 and the roughness on the 100%. Then I'll see that this color going to reflect in here. And occlusion strength is it depends on the occlusion map that you provide here. So sometimes there are some things that we want to occlude. Occlusion is that you put something in front and then you can't see what is in the back. So occlusion is that. So occlusion is that you want to avoid something. That's definition of occlusion. So it's not much important if you don't have this ORM texture. Usually we don't have, but 3D designers, they like to work with some lights and they want to occlude some things, so they put things here and here, but we don't have to worry about it. um, uh, I'm going to keep it like a 50% metallic, and let's say roughness to like 50% as well. So it is a little bit shiny, a little bit rough also. So we don't see that light like too much, but we see that it's reflective. Okay. And for now, I'm going to assign it a texture like emoji 1. If you see that this emoji looks a little dark, the origin texture is like this, but it looks dark. So that is why we can now change these things to make it a light. So first of all, a physically based material will always need a light, like the environment light. So the environment light is not given yet. So we're going to give the which environment are we in, so that it has to reflect something. So that like which environment are we in? Are we in an office area? Are we in a nature? So let's add something naturey to it. So you click on it and go to search AR library. You can also add your own textures, but the textures that you can import here are they're called .htri files. uh, we usually don't work with them a lot because what we know of JPG, we know of PNG, um, but we don't really know of HDRI. So HDRI is basically is an information of your surroundings. So it kind of it kind of like a 360-degree image. Facebook has a lot of them, like these days. Like a lot of people like to upload HDR files there. Like some of the cameras they support it. Like you have to rotate your phone slowly, and then it will record like a surrounding of your phone. Insta 360, there's this camera that recently has come. The people like to record on the top, and it sees everything 360 degrees. So those are like those are based on that HDRI concept. So I'm going to add this, go to search library, and then you'll see that there are a couple of environment textures here and a couple of in here. So if I click on this one, and I see that there's this sunny and there's this the peer. Um, what I want to have is proper light, like a lot of light. So this seems nice. This also seems nice. We can let's take this one so that we will see a little bit of uh, greenish tint into our reflections a little bit. If we make it like 100% metallic and roughness is 0, you'll see that it has like a little bit of green, that thing. So we're kind of augmenting that we are in an environment where we are surrounded by a green environment. So if you put some glasses in here, then if you move your head, you'll see that, oh, okay, there's something like I'm actually augmenting. So this augmenting a space where I'm into a natural place. So um, it adds a lot of details to your textures. So those textures, and you can also rotate this light. Like let's say if I look in front, this is a little bit dark. So I don't want that. I want it like when I look in front, then it should be a little bright. But maybe if I go away, then probably the dark part can come, because it's like some part of it are dark, some part of it are super bright, some part of the environment texture are super green. Just to have a look at it, it's in right in here. So if this is what something my eyes are reflecting on, it's dark area. This is super bright area. So this is probably super bright area right now, and if I look down, this is probably greener area. But this one is like black. If I go in here, this is what it is reflecting right now. So I hope that's clear about environment textures. But you can always try and see what fits best for you, whatever, like when you look in front of you, what fits best. I want to get rid of that black thing, but it is in the middle. So okay, um, don't have to make it like super, because no flowers will look like this. Flowers are not really metallic. Flowers are quite rough, but so we can keep it this way. Now if I put my metallicness, my shininess to 0, and my roughness to 100%, this is gonna matter a little, like, but the reflection won't be there. So maybe I can have it like this color, whatever feels original to you. You can just uh, keep that rotation, and maybe this sounds nice. And also I can sorry, increase the metallicness a bit and decrease the roughness a bit. This is not going to matter for this because we don't have a map. Um, Now I see a little bit of details and then looks okay to me. Um, Tiling options are like, if you create a tile, then the entire texture will be divided into, like, if this part is filling my entire texture, if I tile it into x direction by 2, then half of it will fill this texture. For the tiling, let me come back to it after we finish this. Maybe we'll cover this because we covered this in the previous sessions that we did with Reskills, but this time we were like wanted to go beyond and talk about other things. But I think this is also equally important to learn about these things. So we'll, after this is completed, we'll come back to tiling, and these are the render options, and these are similar to all of the other materials. If you put it on add, then it's just gonna be like a little transparent but plus bright. So if I do that, it's gonna be like, if you can see my eyes in the middle of them, and I can work with my opacity to, like, it kind of like blends with your skin, and then shows you that. So if you put the blend mode is like blending. What kind of blending are you looking for? And excuse me for a moment.
Okay, so till then, those who were asking about the assignments, so you have, I'm sharing a form with you all. So you have to submit your assignments here. This is the Google form, guys, where you have to submit your assignments. And let me share it with you. Just a second. So this is the form where you have to submit your assignments, and assignment is already being told by the sir. You have to put some particle structure or some rainy filters over there. And also, just one more announcement: the deadline is 25th May. 25th May is the deadline for your AR filter submission. So make sure you are submitting your AR filter before 25th May. So I'm just let me write it down. So, let me share. So guys, 25th May is the deadline for AR submission filter. So make sure you are making your AR filter before that, and keep learning, keep exploring all the AR fields, and keep exploring the textures that already sir already told. And so yeah, so sir will be joining in a couple of minutes. Okay, regarding assignments and submissions. Yeah, so yes, we will share a mail regarding that. Yeah, I'll share a mail with you all regarding the submission. Yeah, so sir, you can take it up. Thank you.
Thanks, Lakshit. Okay, sorry about that. I had something delivered. Okay. Now where were we? We were tiling. We were talking about the blend modes, and the blend modes. This associative alpha is basically very similar to alpha, but sometimes when you have things over some things, then it kind of takes that account of that association of blending. Um, doesn't really matter much. Probably like if you're too much concerned about very tiny details of your texture, then probably just maybe then probably you can um, choose to have associative alpha. Mostly we work with alpha. Add our subtract is it's going to subtract the color from it. So that's how it's going to look like. Whatever is in the back, it's going to subtract that color. Multiply is just going to multiply, like just multiply whatever is in the back. So looks pretty transparent. um, replace is so our texture is like this. Okay, but our the plane that we are putting it in is like this, like it's a square. It's a square texture, like 120 cross 120. But these things are not filled. Like my wherever I made this texture, like wherever you make this texture, it's gonna be like this, and then you make these things transparent. So it whatever the transparented is, it makes it black. That's what replaces. And that's the replaced one. And then we have screen is a lighter version of alpha. Like lighter version of ad. Like ad has like two extreme, and the screen is like a little less extreme. And then this is the actual texture. Double sided is if this is useful when you're flipping something. So let's say this is my camera right now, and when I see from the front, I can see this texture, but if I see from the back, I can't see this texture. If I go behind that, I can't see them. So if you put it on double sided, that means whatever plane I had in front of the texture, it's going to also print in the back. So both sided, just So now if I go back, I can still see them. Right? That's double sided. Um, if I click on this alpha right now, and if I go to my manipulators, you'll see that this checker box is the entire alpha. Okay, this checker box is entirely is representing this left eye. But if I click on my texture, my material, and if I turn on my alpha test, then you will notice that now those squares, it is not accounting for that alpha anymore. It is just accounting for where what is the maximum boundary of my texture. It's not accounting the boundary of the entire square or entire like. So basically what it has done, it has removed the part where it was transparent, and I said that my boundaries are like this. It is useful when you're, let's say, using emitters, and then one texture is going over one texture. So what they do is that this blank area sometimes troubles, like it comes over something, so in your rendering order it might look like a little bit problematic. So what you do is that you always, not always, like wherever you need it, you can turn on the alpha test, and then it will make those boundaries to just the limit of the texture. All right. And these we already have discussed the depth tests, and that's it. That's the physically based material, and we have our material ready. And now, how do I bring that UI picker? How do I change these emojis from one to another? And then this is what we're gonna do now. So if you click on right click, and then there's this UI picker. You just type UI, and then you'll see two things: UI picker and the slider UI. Slider UI will do in the next session, but the picker UI you can do in this one. So picker UI, you bring it on, you bring it into the patch editor, and always when you work on this UI, you might want to note this that, okay, before we go to the UI, I'm just going to look at the questions if we have any. Which type of filter we have to submit? Which type of filter? What do you mean by which type of filter? Your assignment will tell you that, and then you have to submit. You have to complete like whatever there is in the assignment, and you can add your own imagination, your own textures, the way you want to show it. The type, there's no type. Like it's a front cam filter, if that's what you mean by type. It's a front cam filter. It's not going to be plain tracker filter for now. It's not going to be world filter for now, but you can use those techniques to your put your emitters into. And um, next is, how many filters do you have to submit? Feel free, we'll just account for one. Feel free how many you want to submit. We'll just count one filter for the prizes. As much as you want to submit, that's your choice. I would always encourage you to make as many you can, and maybe upload on Instagram, and then submit your best that you think is the best, that you think that I've learned something. The uh, more important aspect of giving your assignment and putting into challenge is that you learn. So no matter how many you want to do, it's your choice. You want to do 3, you want to do 4. If you have time, feel free to do that. At least one you should do. And that's that is answered. Sagar, you have to be specific on the assignment, because you have to use some capabilities that we have taught you, and then we want to check that how much you've learned, and we want to make sure that you go after that, because when you make it, you learn that, okay, there's some things that you're not clear about, because it's easy to watch a YouTube tutorial on how to ride a bicycle, but when you actually ride a bicycle, there's a fear in you that when you're riding a bicycle, do I fall on one side or the other side? Because unless you don't try, you might not know some problems that you haven't encountered earlier. So you have to first try, and then so we will guide you through that. So it's like a guided assignment for you. Dhruv, I hope your questions is answered already. I hope Reskill will take that. Which type of filter? Okay. How did you put the directional light to default? This is the direction light to default. If you open a blank filter, this is the default position you get, like blank project. But if I change it to a certain, like an angle or something, and then how to put it on default, I just did Control Z once, and that's back to the changes. Because if I click on my mouse and if I am just doing this, it just keep changing. So this is just one change I'm making. But if I leave my mouse and if I do another change, then I make two changes. So I have to do Control Z two times to make it by default. And okay, we're clear. This is the UI picker. If I make it visible, it's gonna be visible. But right now, so I'm gonna put emoji number one to number one, number two to number two, and number three. All right, Christy, we'll come back to your question maybe after this, so that everybody can benefit from that. Number four and number five. So we have five emojis in here. If I enable this, this should be, yeah. If I enable this, this is all the five emojis. The way I've put it, they are visible in the bottom of my screen. Very simple to set it up. Few things that you should always remember. Uh, these texture that we bring on inside, and if you want to put it in here, then there's a limit, there's a condition that these textures have to always be set to compression none. You can't put it on automatic. If you put that, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Maybe it's working here. Yeah, it's not going to work. It's going to give you an error. So you have to put it on none. Like this should not be compressed. Like these textures should not be compressed. And if you notice, these textures are always going to be small. You know, like they're not going to be like a bigger texture. So we don't need like much details into it. We just need a small thumbnail. And if you see any website or any they have like a thumbnail anywhere, thumbnails are very small in size. So keep it to like, maximum of like 256 cross 256, not more than that. Like we don't need those details in here. Like nobody's gonna go into it, and like, because right now all I want to see is thumbnail. So 120 cross 120 is fine as well. Okay. So, but the important thing is always put this to none. All right. And yeah, this is a very important thing and very often question which is asked in some certification exams. If you give, um, I'm not giving you any clues, but like this is one of the questions. This is very tricky part, because a lot of people don't give it an account, and then when they make it, they see like, what is the error? Why is it giving me error? Everything is fine. Why this error is coming? And then it's coming because you can't have them compressed. This is a default setting by Spark. Okay, now that's clear. The next thing that I want to do is to give this texture to my emoji. Okay, and if I bring this down and if I give this selected texture, because the selected texture is like, what is the selected texture? When I select it, when I select something, is selected texture. So right now is not connected to my material. So if I select them, nothing is happening. Like if I select them, they're not changing, because this is only taking in account the texture that I've given it to it, which was earlier. Now if I give this texture to this guy, now the moment I click on it, it's gonna change the texture. It's gonna change the texture that I click on. So this was can you reinsert it? Reinsert what? The picker UI? Sure. Just right click and then you look for UI, and then this picker UI, just click on it and it will be right here for you. You can have multiple picker UIs as well, um, and enable one at a time. So just deleting it for now. Thanks, Aman. These are the flowers, not me. But all right, we just gonna refresh it to make it happen again, and then we can change it. It's a pretty simple concept, but the concept is always simple. The applications they are like they are like not complex, but they are like infinite possibilities, like what you can do with it. For an example, if I wanted to change my background, then I would have done that for the background. I could also use this index to do something. Like if if I'm selecting this and that, there's no feedback. Like I don't know what's happening. So, but probably I'm gonna take another example to do that. So I'm gonna add a canvas to this, and maybe just like a canvas, and then canvas will have a 2D text, and this 2D text will, I'm gonna call it like just a feedback. What I'm doing is, so this is an example. So I'm gonna call it a feedback, and this text is what I'm gonna have a variable as a variable, like what I want to do with it. So this text, if I'm gonna take this index, I'm gonna use this index. Like what happens? Like every time I change my texture, click on the UI picker, it changes. This index changes. Like it knows that this is the 0th UI picker. This is the pick a number two, okay, pick a number two, but like the indexing starts from 0, but for us it is number 2. But this is like, actually we start indexing from 0 to 4, then these are 5 elements. Okay, we maximum go to 4, but there are 5 elements. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So can I utilize this somewhere where, let's say, I have another option picker now, and I can use this option picker to change some values for me. This is option picker. This is a UI picker. So don't get just word with the picker. This option picker has like a lot of options. What kind of picker do you want to make? And this is just a UI picker and only supports textures. Okay. Now, if I do this to if I want to do some text into it, and the first one I'm going to do is flower, and the next I'm going to do is cupcake, and the third is my diamond, and fourth is my heart, and the fifth is my star. So this is what I'm going to happen, and I'm going to keep this in the center, probably make its color to white, and maybe this text can have like a bigger size. Also, I can change some fonts, like if I want some uh, different font. You can also import your font. Do you know that? Like you can just click on here and import like any OTF or TTF files, and just when you import that, you're just gonna change that. It's gonna appear right in here, but you have to import in your project, and then you can select that font. Whatever you import, always gonna appear at the bottom of this. So this is I like the one which was, yeah. So now if I give it here, because I'm selecting stars, it's telling me that star is selected. This is a flower. Now, because of my, this text is like a very small 100 by 100 box, so the flower is longer, so I have to like make it a little longer. If I do it to 200, that's gonna work, but I'm gonna do it like fill width, and make it like a little center. This is cupcake, and this is the diamond, and this is my heart, and this is the star. So, so we've done that. We have used this in an example. Um, Based on this, you can also do something like, let's say, um, what we want to do. What we want to do. We want to, let's say we, this is okay. Like we understand that's a pretty simple example, but let's say create another option picker, and this option picker has like some pulses into it. Okay, and probably not gonna do that, I think. But we have to like make a little complex project. Like we have to give some sort of pulses in here, like every time something happens. So if that happens number one, then the output is going to, like, it can generate something, like maybe a counter, maybe a something that you want to do with it. So, but we need to create that logic to give that pulse first. So you could do that as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Any very simple setup. There's not much there conceptually. It's a very simple thing that to do, but quite useful, very much useful. Okay. uh, what if you why this compression option is there if we can't compress the asset? You can compress the asset, but just not for the UI picker. Don't do this for the UI picker. And to answer your question, why it is there is because and by the way, these tools are so good. Like this, if you put it on automatic, if you put it on manual as well, you will see that there are so many options. Like what kind of format do you want to compress? There are like these techniques. You want to compress with like a 2-bit encoder, like a 4-bit encoder, like also compress with the alpha, and like not no don't encounter the alpha. You can read about these compression techniques, not so useful technically, I'm speaking. What is the maximum resolution you want to compress it to? Like if my texture is like 1024 cross 1024, and if I compress it to 512, that is the maximum compression, then my file size is going to just go to half of it. So uh, to answer your question, why these settings are there is because in the rural areas we have very less internet speed, and our filter size is maximum 4 MB. Your texture can go up to 4 MB, and everything, the entire project size can go up to 4 MB. Like right now we are at right now if I check my file size, we are at like 300 KB maximum. We can go like 4 MB. Think they've increased it, but I still work under 4 MB. And so that 4 MB is a lot to download those assets. So if you have already compressed outside Spark, that means like your file size is like, if I take this file and it's 9 KB. Let's say if I take a bigger file, like which is 200 kbs, and if I have a couple of those files, if I compress it outside this Spark and then bring it in here, then I don't have to put the settings as none. I don't have to compress it. I will always put the setting as none, like don't use the compression settings at all. uh, but if you don't have a compression tool and you're like in a hurry, or you don't want to like manage the compression, then you can trust Spark for that. Just put that compression settings as automatic. it will it's a very good, like they have built a super nice compression, but you would not be in control of that compression. Like sometimes it might compress it so much that it will be pixelated, because I don't know, like any user can be anywhere, any can have any kind of phone, can have any kind of internet speed. So to be on the safer side, this is my personal preference that I put them on none, and I compress always using this Crushy tool that I earlier introduced. Crushy tool, you can download it from Crushy's website. So it becomes like you just have to add your files and crush it, and then it gives you like a super nice compression without decreasing the quality. So that's all about the compression and why are they here. So I hope, Sahil, that's your question is answered. And can we use this UI picker for 3D objects? Shaker, just look at your question. You're mentioning for 3D objects. So what do you mean by 3D objects? If you want to use it for, this is a picker UI. That means this is my picker UI. Okay. Now, do you want to put 3D objects here? No, you can't put 3D objects here. This picker UI will only give you a texture. All right. So what you can do is that you can pass a texture to this, nothing else, no number, nothing. But if you, I know that the question was not like what I'm gonna tell you, but if you bring a 3D asset in here, um, if you bring a 3D asset, like let's say, it is similar to what we did with emitters. Like if you remember, in the emitter, we managed to in the emitters we managed to give it like a 3D texture. So it's similar to that. So for an example, let's say let's work with this diamond, which is white, and if I import it, and if I bring it inside the focal distance, and if I want to show my diamond in here as a texture, not as a 3D object. Okay, so because this UI picker is this, okay, this is the UI picker, and the use of this UI picker is just here. Now anything that you want to do with this index, that's up to you. That's your knowledge of Spark AI. That's up to you, whatever you want to do with it. But the usage of this UI picker ends here, because it just have to show the UI picker. That's it. So if I want to show this diamond as a texture, which is right in the middle right now, I have to bring it in here. I will have to use a scene render pass. That this is similar to how we did it with the emitters, okay? And I have to give this the scene object, and you'll see that it will show me the diamond. I'll put it on transparent so it's not black in the background. And if I use this texture in here, says image textures are not supported. Okay, then I'll use a shader and pass. Yeah, so you can see that the invalid texture, only image textures are supported. So like unfortunately we can't do that, but this is the way. This is the way to do it. This is the way to render a texture, like render a texture. Shekhar, no, that's what I'm trying to answer you. That you only can change the UI picker settings using this. If you want to change those things that you're mentioning, then that is the use of this option picker. Okay, you're confusing the UI picker with the option picker. That is the use of the option picker. You can do that. What are you mentioning? You can do that with the option picker. So option picker is something that you're looking for. And how you can do this, that probably like maybe have an option picker, um, and change the visibility of something, like create a boolean, and like which one is visible when, and then you can do that. So that's one way. And there's also something called like option switch, an option sender. And so you can say that, like, if I have this diamond, and if I have this diamond like couple of times, let's say I have like 4 diamonds. Okay, so I have like a couple of diamonds, and if you trigger their visibilities in here, then you can just use the visibility to like change it. Sorry, this is a visibility. No, it's a boolean. You have to create a boolean, and so based on, like, there are 5 diamonds in the scene right now, but and all look similar. So I'm gonna make them like a little bigger. This is 1.5. This is 1.3 and 1.3. 1. This is 0.6, 0.3, 3.3, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, and then the rest of that. So if you see that if I pass my option, let's say this guy changes my option. So if I pass my options, option number 2, and then my value will be like visible. So I'll see that a different kind of diamond will appear based on my index. I can also manually do that. I can also do that on a screen tap and like that. So this is the one. Um, I hope that that's clear about the 3D models. My question was that if I use multiple 3D models, can I use UI picker to display and let user what 3D she want in the filter? I just answered your question, Sticker. Based on the UI picker, you can have the texture of the of the 3D models. You just have to make a texture outside Spark and put those texture in here, set the compression to none, use this index, and then when I select the particular model that your thumbnail is here, it will appear. Um, there's a question from Christy. I was trying to a Polaroid filter while doing that. Where is the question again? Uh, okay, while doing that, the camera is getting broadened. How can I solve it? I don't really understand your question, Christy. What are you trying to do? Just like tell me, like, be vocal about it. What is your setup? What are you trying to do? What is your method? Uh, because a particular thing is giving you error, then I can solve it. But I don't know what's the setup, so I can't comment on that. A camera is getting broadened, and probably it's a scaling problem. I think that's what I can get from it. But I still have to know more information about it. We missed a question from Dhruv. If you want to, I'm just gonna remove these diamonds. Okay, and we have a question from. If you want to include a slider so that we can change the between flower, gem, star, just like Snapchat. Okay. What can be done for that? Well, it's a simple question. It's more like a logic that you have to build rather than a capability. Capability that I've told you is enough to make you anything that you want to do. Um, what I have to do is change this index, and this index is only changed when you do this. Like when you do this, click on these things, and um, slider is not part of today's tutorial. It's a part of next tutorial, so I don't want to confuse anyone, but that's possible, of course. Like you have a slider, um, you have a slider. You ask questions that you have learned. You ask questions that you doubt on. Why are you going ahead of the capabilities at the moment? But still, I'll try to answer your question. The slider UI, if I make it visible, it doesn't appear in here, but it will appear in your mobile phone when you test it out. The slider value comes like a slider, and when I slide it, so it has like a starting value at 0, so it goes from 0 to 1. So based on that 0 to 1, I can use some values and assign them to option picker and select an option. So for example, if the 0 to 1 is going from 1 to 10, then I can multiply 1 to 0, sorry, 0 to 1, then I can multiply this to 10. That means the 0 to 1 now will give me like a like values for like until 10, and then I can take a like a floor of every value. So every decimal value will give me like a, so take an example of this. Like if I am at so forget the slider UI, but this is, consider this as like a output from slider UI, which will always be from 0 to 1. And then 0 to 1 value, I'm multiplying it from 10. That means this value is going to be from 0 to 10. And what I want is values like 0, 1, 2, 3, not the values like 0.5 or 1.5. So I taken a floor. This floor will never give me 10. It will always give me something which is less than 10. So uh, because I'm right now I'm passing 10, because this is gonna be less than that. So like if I'm passing it 9.99, it's gonna give me 9. So I will never reach 10. Okay, so this is gonna give me values from 0 to 9. So if I'm at 5.2, it's gonna give me 5. If I'm like 5.9, it's gonna give me 5. Like, so all the values that's gonna come in here, that based on the slider you move, this is gonna change, and then I can use it into an option picker and select which option I want to go for. I hope, Dhruv, it's a nice question. It just like, we can't do that with UI picker. We can do that with slider UI. Yeah. But with the option picker, I can really see I can't really see. Okay, that's what I understand. Thumbnail and the tap on to them activated. Yeah, with the UI picker you can. But if you want to create your own, like let me show you something. Let me show you something. So I understand your question. I'm gonna show you that I made my own UI picker. Like if you have used iPhone or any editing apps, they give you like options like um, options like brightness, saturation, and those are like right there. So when you click on them, you can change the brightness. When you click on the saturation, you can change the saturation. So consider that as an example of like a custom picker for you. So I'm not gonna say UI picker because UI picker is a term which is denoting this, but that is like a custom picker which is showing a thumbnail. So what you can do is you can put number of planes. I can always do that, right? I can always create number of planes in here. Let's say I create a plane, then I create another plane, like another plane, another plane, and there's like 4 planes. So I'm gonna make it to like point 0.3, point 0.3, point 0.3, and then I can always do this. Like I'll just bring them down a bit. Let's bring them down a bit, and like I'll bring them in here, and I go to the plane one. I put it a little in the left. I'll put it in the little right in here. I'll put this one in here, and I put it in here. And I can assign them into a null object so that I can modify them all together. So I'll put them into null object. So this I can move this to like just one go. So if my UI picker is here, now I can assign the texture to these guys. And if my object is tapped, so we learned about the object tap yesterday. So if I tap on this, then do something. If I tap on this, then do something. If I tap on this and do something. This is how you can make your custom UI picker. There's a filter uh, I made on the same thing. So I made the UI picker. Let me just show you an example that. Uh, okay. I'm gonna share my screen, the other screen. Sorry. So if you have a look in here, so this is what I did. I created this photo editing sort of filter where you could change your things. Like if you click on the saturation, then the saturation can give you a little right or left, and then so these are custom. I created. I use a plane, then put an image on that, then put a circle, and then put an SDF. So like a couple of things going on, but based on those things, I can make my own logics. Like I can make anything I want. So that was something that I did with it, and yeah, I hope that also similar to what you want to do with the 3D objects. Like so, when I do some things with the first option, it changes the color of that. But if I want to do with the 3D objects, then I can do that. Like okay, if I click on this and then do something, then maybe show me the 3D object. So this was related to Shaker's doubt. Okay, then okay, all right, Dhruv. Custom UI also looks promising. Custom UI, yeah, they're of course they are, but like how useful is it for you? Because we always get like a very small area to work with. Like our phones are very pretty small, and then if something is taking up space, then we have to account it for, like, because what happens, there's a camera, like when you record something, there's a camera icon always at the bottom, right? So whatever you want to do above it. So it kind of takes up a lot of space. It depends how you design it. Depends how you want to work with it. And this is done. And I surely work on this for next class. Customers, okay. Okay. Thank you, guys. All right. Any question? If I missed, please put it again, because I think I lost the chain of thoughts. Like, where was the last question? Okay. A funny thing to do is to use mouth openness to control the scale of the emoji. All right. Why not? Let's do it. So this is our null object. I'm gonna remove it in this face. Is visible now, and then the scale should be controlled of these two. So I'm gonna put them in a null object so that I can just change the scale of 1 instead of 2, and just refresh it. Sometimes changes the positions. I'm gonna use the mouth openness, and the with openness. Okay. Why doesn't these patches are like funny? Sometimes it doesn't really like show values. Actually, it depends on the version that you're working. Also, sometimes they have new updates, and then some functions are not working. All right, we will restart our project. Yeah, now it's working. All right, so this is like a, yeah, if I open my mouth a lot, then it goes to up to like 0.2. So I need to like kind of remap it to, let's say, if I, okay, let me teach you something new today. So I know that this value is like couple of, is going if I open my mouth maximum, it go up to like 0.4. So what I want to do is that I know that this value can go from 0 to 0.5. Like right now, that's the maximum it's going. So I know its range. So from range, there's a patch called from range. So this minimum is 0, and the maximum that I'm going is 0.5, because I know if it goes beyond 0.5, then probably it's not gonna take care of that. So I'm gonna remap this value from range to range, which is like a new range value. So I'm gonna do that to range, map it to 0 to 1, because my scale is I don't want 0, I want like 0.5 to 1. Okay, because 0 is like it's not gonna be visible at all. If I do that, that should fix it. Okay, if I do that, I this is like a number one value, like a scalar value. So I'm gonna pack it to, you can pack, there are two ways to do it. You can pack it to like this, or this other way also. You can just swizzle this value. Swizzle is like swizzles it into couple of, like, if you just swizzle it to three vector, like one vector to another vector, then okay, we can't use this null object because this is not following the position of these guys. So I'm going to use the scale from right here. Okay, so another way to do is just to x, because this is giving me one number. That means I can just go x, and then that x should be also in the y and also in the z. So this is gonna give me like three vector, and then I can assign it here. It's the same thing. So let's use this one for upper one and this one for lower one. Yeah. Now you notice that that's happening like quite weirdly. What we can do is we can use a like a exponential smoothing, so everything happens like a smoothly. So I'm gonna use this with the 200 smoothing. It's still not smooth. I'm not satisfied. uh, zero point 0.5 to 1 and when it's 0 I'm gonna get like 50. Okay, let's map it to even lesser values, like maybe zero point 0.1, because yeah, now if you open our mouth even less, it's gonna work like more. Yeah. So we can also we can also use clamping, like the maximum clamp that can go. Clamp is like clamp into like some values. So if we clamp it to, let's say, maximum, you can go zero point 0.1, so that the it doesn't become so big. So 0.01, it has to also go 0.01. Yeah, I think that should work better on the phone, because here it's like the detection of mouth open is not so accurate. But of course, you can remap and change these things to whatever mathematical logic you can apply, and then just pass it to the parameter that you want to change. Okay, that was way up. Any other we missed? Okay, SDFs. All right, we will talk about the SDF just now. How did you? Yeah. Okay, so we have some time. We can talk about the SDFs if you like. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this face tracker and also the UI picker, and also this canvas, which is having this flower text. What we're doing now is we want to make an SDF, and that SDF will be outputted to this canvas, which has the text. I'm going to disable the text and add a rectangle. Shravan, I can do it. Sure, no worries. But always try to do things along the way, because I try to give enough time to like so they can experiment with things. But sure, I'll take your request and I'll put the same in the same drive that you have the link, and save that link, guys. Always save that link, that because that's not going to change. Where is that? This link, this folder, this Spark School, it's just for you guys. So anything what I'm going to do is like I'm going to put things in here, finished project in here, for other things also, so you can always find everything related to this workshop. So what you did, this link is always given. I always share the same link. If you notice, this link I always give you when the lectures start, so you can just bookmark this link, and every time when you come to the lecture, just go to this link and you'll find something in here. And also after the session is finished. So now I have this rectangle, and this rectangle is should have a material. I'm gonna put it to flat and call it my mat SDF, and this rectangle is also my SDF test. Just putting any name out there, and this mat SDF is, I'm gonna bring it in here. So we're gonna assign some texture to this SDF, which is this material, which is just normal material. Have a SDF, any SDF. Okay, tell me something. Tell me some inspiration that we wanna do. Tell me something that we wanna make. Suggest me something that create some shape like maybe eyes, or um, let's try to create some, I don't know, if you have any suggestions, just shoot in like a simple shape. I can take an example. So for now I'm just gonna start with SDF. There are like a couple of things in here. I hope you can see SDF line, SDF line is one of the objects that you can create. SDF star, SDF circle, SDF ellipse, SDF polygon. Um, these things are in here. You can utilize these things. And there are a couple of operations that we can do with them, like, you want to flip the SDF, you want to flip the star, you want to scale it better, or you want to make it a slant, you want to twist it. And so let's do something random. Okay, so SDF circle, that's what I'm going to start with. SDF circle. And when I start with the SDF circle, I take this circle as a, like, shows me like a, so what is an SDF? SDF is like a signed distance field. So what it does is that it creates a, I am not visible. Wait. What it does is it takes a position of a point. Okay, so if I'm drawing a circle, it's going to take a position farther than the point I'm drawing for, and it will, with respect to that position, it's going to draw those pixels. So if I'm doing for a circle, it is based on the distance of that from the origin. It's going to draw all those pixels. So this is why it's called like the distance field. Like, at what distance are you talking about? If I'm talking about a circle from the center, then from point 0, point 0.5, I'm going to talk about all the points which are lying there, and every of them I'm going to like assign a color, like a black or white. If it is a black, then it's going to be transparent. If it is white, then it's going to be assigned to some texture. Actually, the opposite. If it is black, then I'm going to assign the texture. If it is white, then it's white, right? So this is 0.5. If I put it to 0.1, then it's going to be smaller. This is a combination of black and white, only black and white. So just 0.5 is by default what you get. And if I put it to directly to this guy, it's gonna, yeah, maybe you can see or not, but wherever I have black, my texture is printed, and there's a little bit of, so let me decrease it so you can see it better. If I decrease it, you'll see that wherever I have black, the texture is printing on the background because that becomes transparent. And wherever I have white, it's white. Okay. And wherever I have black, it's transparent. So if I don't have anything right now, my camera texture in the background, if I don't have that camera texture, then it's going to be black. So that's something to take note of. But we want to do something with it. So there's a thing called Sdf Complement, which means that right now whatever is there, so make the white to black and black to white. Okay, so this is gonna give me this. So whatever white was there, it became black, and so this is giving me like the entirely opposite thing to that. So this is my SDF complement, and complement is also similar to subtracting from 1. If I subtract from 1 to this thing, this is also give me the same output. The very same output. Uh, yeah, but this gives me a number, and this gives me a number as well. This is similar to what we do, but in terms of textures, maybe we can explore it. Why is it doing that? But this is the same thing. Subtracting and taking a complement is the same thing. Okay, so another thing, that the last step that we want to do is smooth step, because so that we can control how much sharper do we want these colors to be, because right now they're like spreading out, like the black is going until in here, the white is maybe super white in here, but it's not super white. This is like a mixture of both the colors. So a smooth step let you decide that what is your minimum edge where you wanna saturate these things. Like before that, you can be black, or after that you can be white. So if I pass it like that, it's no changes. I'm going to have a shader and pass in here so that I can see what are we making. So right now, so if I change this maximum to like maybe 0.03, then I'll see that I have made a white circle. Okay, so this is like I've made a white circle which is stretched right now because it needs to be a circle. It appears like a stretched because it is printing on the rectangle. So if you remember, we did we in the last lecture we managed it to solve it. How did we solve it? We take a device in here, and we, because right now my x is smaller than my y. My x is like from here to here, but my y is almost more than almost two times, I think. So because this is like 390 and 844, so this is almost scale three times. It's almost three times. So if I mm, divide, then I'll get the resolution. If I divide it by my scale, then I'll get the resolution of my screen. And if I, so for to getting the ratio, we don't need the resolution. We can directly divide it because that's not going to change. So we have to unpack this thing. This is going to give us like a two coordinates of x and y, like the length of the x and y. Let's say this is 1170s and this is 2532. So I'm going to divide the x by y. If I divide the x by y, it's going to give me the actual ratio, that if there is one x, then how many y's are there. So for it is saying that for every 0.46 y, there has to be one x to balance this. You're getting my point? Like this is smaller and this is larger. So how do I find that balance that it becomes a square? Because right now it is lengthier because of my screen is lengthier. So I need to find that balance that it becomes a square. So this number is going to give me that balance. So I'm going to call it a aspect ratio, and I'm going to use this aspect ratio to make some changes for me. And this we can put it up because we got the sender. So this is the value that we're getting. So we got this in here. And I'm going to use a texture transform patch, and this texture is going to be this one, and my SDF is now will get the texture from it. This is the SDF texture that we're giving it to the smooth step. Earlier we were giving it to directly the material. Now we're gonna transform this to before it reaches our material. And there's a 2D transform pack uh, that has like a transformations that we can do. So those transformations we're gonna change to something like uh, for every x, I'm going to change the y. So I'm going to pack this pack this to a vector 2 because x and y, that x and y we have to take care of. And if my y is zero point 0.6, then my x can be 1, because that's what I want to do. For every 1 pixel of x, I want to reduce my y to less than 0.5. All right, so this is going to give me that. So if I do that, my circle is now square, like a circle line, looks like that. Now if I multiply it by a number, I can also change it the scale proportionally, because now I'm kind of multiplying both the values by the same number. So I can make it bigger, I can make it smaller, and like that. So for now, we just keep it to 1 because we can change things from in here, from the SDF properties. So what you can do is you can uh, group this, like, because these things, like, they confuse, because its job is done. Its job is done, and I'm gonna group it to um, texture changer, or like texture transform. Okay, transform version 2, and then I'll also can change the properties, like my input one is, this is just to have a better understanding, and my input one is my texture, my SDF texture, and my input two is ratio, a aspect ratio. and then that can be my number, and that's it. So now I know that if I do this, then my things will be okay. So let's do something else now. This is the complement that I'm getting of so complement will I'll take, of course, for printing that. You could also put it like lesser than 0.00.003. Then it's going to be like a little sharper, because earlier if you see that there were a little bit blurriness around it. If I put to 0.03, then it was little bit blur at the edges, but I can make it sharper by even cutting it like very fine. So if I put it like 0.003, so I'm sort of accounting to the values which are zero point 0.1 radius, and after that, like if you're finished, then like from the maximum distance, 0.01, I am taking it to not any further. Like even if I do make it to zero, then this is the sharpest you can get. But if you put it to like 0.1, then this is gonna blur it out. Like it is still printing the circle, but printing the white in the middle and making it transparent at the edges. So I put it to a very low number so that it becomes a little sharper. And now let's try to add something else like to this. Maybe let's have a let's have one more. mm, no, let's keep this way, and let's have a SDF rectangle. And this rectangle, if I now I can make a union of these things. I can add these SDF. So if I smooth the union these guys, so that should give me a combination of both of these, but I have to make it a little smaller. And also I want to put it a little upper than like that place. Okay. um, that's done. And have you gotten the assignment, Ajit? Did you receive the assignment? Okay, so now I have two shapes in here, and these are smoothly union. Like I've taken a union, like whatever shape I'm drawing in here and whatever shape I'm drawing in there. Take this entire union, and if I change the smoothness, notice this. This is a very important and very useful concept. If I change the smoothness, they try to blend in together because they have like a smoothness with them. This is very similar to what you do with the mix patch. So right now what I'm doing is that I'm doing like a full union of this. But if I increase this to the, let's say, zero point 0.5, then what I do is 50% of this and 50% of this. Additionally, this is a mix, but this is a union of SDFs. Both concepts are interpolation between two numbers using a third number. This is what it is. So if you notice that they're gonna now they're union, like this is the union that we have made, like after combining those two shapes. So um, this looks okay to me. And now next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna repeat it. Like whatever I'm getting, I'm gonna have a repeat patch. So I'm gonna use SDF rotational repeat so I can rotate it as well. And when I do that, I'm gonna do this for a couple of times. So when I do that, I can change that. Like I can make a circle like that. And so now we are like increasing again more and more circles like that. So if you notice, we are almost drawing this flower here, but just like we have to adjust like the number of things that we are drawing. But we could do that. We can make a loading icon like that. It's like a loading icon. And so yeah, like those are the SDFs that you can make. Then there are a couple of other SDF annular. This SDF annular is pretty important. What it does is that it should be used in somewhere before the repeating. So um, notice about these patches that they always accept an SDF and they always return an SDF. So you can always like combine the SDFs the way you want, and like you can do anything. So what you can do is you can take this SDF in here, and then before repeating it, I'm gonna just give it like a little um, 0.01. So if I give it a 0.01, it kind of works around the boundaries of this. Like it made it like a, so let me increase it a little bit, like 0.02. Then like it's kind of increasing the width of those rings. So if I increase it more and more and more, it's gonna increase it so much that they're gonna combine together, right? So this is what you're gonna see after having it in here. How many do we have? We have like five, five. Okay, and also we're gonna make it a little smaller than this. Right now they're quite big. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just make a little space for us to work with, and after rotating, I'm gonna just I can, yeah. Sorry. Okay. Um, After rotating, no, it's the rotation. Okay, cool, cool, cool. This is after rotating, or I can give like a SDF scale, which is a scale that we can manage. And right now it's 1 1, so we're gonna like probably go like 0.6, 0.6. So this is like a smaller, a little, maybe zero point 0.8 and 0.8. Yeah. So we have that, and then we can also make it more small, like zero point 0.2, zero point 0.2 as well, like super small. And then what we can do is we can use another repeat after scaling it. So I'm going to use SDF repeat again. This is not rotational. That was a rotational repeat, so it was rotating around the, like, I had a circle, then it was rotating around in the circles. But this is not the rotation one. This is just going to repeat it in the X and the Y. So it repeated all over the screen and all over the X and Y. And I can obviously manage the size of it, like how far from each other do I want it, how up or down we want to want it, and then it's like create any design. So if you have a reference or something in mind, then you can work around it. Right now, I'm just working blindly, so whatever comes, like it's just okay. And so yeah, and then if I change the rotation now, then it's probably like I can change the how many of these I want in the inside of that. And if I go to just like having maybe lesser, like a, you can do that as well. um, yeah, I think whatever shape looks like a design to you, can stick to that. Create a bigger, smaller radius, make it like a lotus, or like a planet. Segment this SDF for background. What do you mean by segment? Segment. Okay, segment myself, like personal segmentation. Okay, so person segmentation. Yeah, you want this to in the background. Sure. What you can do is you have to first bring. You have to first create a background, not canvas. You have to create a rectangle, and this rectangle has to be 100%, 100%. And I'm gonna give it like a, just to make it like a matte BG. And since this is rendering first, so it's first has to go in the back right now. And this rectangle is my BG, and I'm gonna make this color to be like a black color, maybe any color, like any color you want. Maybe no, no. Okay, and then I'll have another camera can rectangle, which is gonna be my user. So I'm gonna give it like matte user, and this matte user is also, sorry, matte user, and this is just user. And I'm gonna keep it to again like that. And this matte user should have my camera texture with it. So I need to first take out my camera texture and also my segmentation, person segmentation. Then I'm going to use that to change my user. Give it the, sorry, give it to the camera texture and assign the alpha as a segmented texture. And then that goes into the background, right? Now we can change that. We can make more backgrounds. I wanted to do something more. This is called SDF twist. It gives you twist. So if you after just before the, so everything we are doing just before the complement, because we wanted to print whites and then do something with it. But I'm also going to teach you how to color them, because we can also color whatever white is or can be colored easily. This twist is going to take this repeat output and yeah, so if you see that everything has to be like is twisted by 3 value, and it can be like bigger and lesser. So what you can also do is that use a loop animation, okay, and then use this loop animation to make a transition. And this transition should go from a number like uh, -3 to +3, or maybe -10 to +10, and that has to be in a format. And if I do that, you'll see that it's kind of, my background is animating in a way. And if I want to mirror it, I can mirror it as well. So um, yeah, that's my background for this. And what else do you have? Any questions? Like, yeah, so try it out, the SDFs. More you try it, more you get familiar. That's how I did, like i remember I remember when I started working with the SDFs, I had no knowledge like what are the SDFs. I googled the definition. I tried to kind of import those patches into this in here, and I just tried. I just started working with them. Now I feel like I know that what this patch do and then what it's gonna give me. So it's just with practice. um, to practice also, I will suggest you to just find an artwork like normal sketch artwork, whatever, like simple shapes on Pinterest, and make it your goal, like this is what you want to draw using SDFs. And then that's going to give you like a best practices, like it's going to give you a confidence also. Let's say you want to draw an alarm clock, you saw an alarm clock and you want to just draw it. So different shapes together, combine them and you make it like that. It's awesome. Like you can create those things in here. uh, yeah, any questions do we have? Any um, so any, yeah, you can animate the background, of course. The effect looks a bit hard. We'll try after I've learned a few stuff. It's not hard. It's just maybe tedious. That there's a difference between these words. Tedious is that you have to like do a lot of things to go somewhere. But if I just give you a very small recap, what I did was I took a circle, I took a rectangle. Then after combining those things, I created a shape which is like the shape that we are getting, and we can always control that how much smoothness we want, how much the combination that we want from those. Um, so after using that, I took an annular. So annular is that like a differences between the outer and the inner boundary. That like how much did I want it. If I put it to like 0.01, then this is gonna be like I don't know if you can see that, but there's a very thin line, like very thin. So if I put it to 0.05, you will be able to see that. Um, you could make rain using SDF, by the way, if you want to try that out. It is part of your assignment. You can use that, and bonus points if you do that. Bonus points if you do that. And this is rotational repeat. Uh, so I repeated everything to the radius certain times. If I do that more than that, so I can have like a very congested texture. But if I do it lesser times, I'll have like a space between those repetition that's are happening. Then I scaled. I controlled the scale because everything was going beyond the screen, but I can now I see that, like, in increase it or decrease it, that scale, possibly keep it to this for a better understanding. And then I repeated it again, um, repeated it like that, and probably you can also like mirror in X and Y, that you can experiment with these things again. And I twisted the animation a bit. I can also twist anything else. Like if I don't twist it, it's gonna be like a static this image where this swirl is happening in a way. So if I just make it positive, then it's gonna swirl other way, like this. So yeah. Okay. If that looks nice, then I keep it that way. Uh, oh yes, definitely, definitely. I mean, you should try that. Okay. Um, is there anything that I missed? Any question? Probably I promised something that we'll discuss today and have not. I Yeah, just remind me if I've missed something. I think I promised for SDFs, and then we talked about SDFs and anything else. Okay, I think yeah, we still have 10 minutes. We can utilize it, or not. Yeah, we'll still have some few minutes. Then, any questions? Do you want to ask anything that is going top of your head? Just let me know. Um, what else can we do with SDFs? I made a mask once, like a mask with SDFs only. So like I created some dots in here and then made a mask. Oh, I wanted to show you how to give it a color. Okay, that's important. All right, how to give it a color? Okay, so what I did, this is a number. This thing is gives me a number, and right now, this is a vector 4 thing. Like your texture is vector 4, like made of R, G, B, and alpha, 4 things. So this number is going to all of them equally. So what I can do is I can use this for alpha and mix. I can mix some colors. So if I use a mix and I can mix a color, and what I want to do is I want to give this alpha to this so that that color can be printed. And right now, like everything is black because what you're mixing this alpha is, it should be accounting. So the first thing that you should do is make this transparent. The first one, transparent, is that change the opacity to 0. So when you make the transparent, then then our background was already that, but this is the black color that we're getting on it. Now you can change this color to something else. Change it to maybe something more like, maybe, can't really figure out what color do you like on that. This is a purple, so probably, I don't know. I like the white much better than any other color for this one. But you can try any color that you like, and also can try to change the color. Um, like if I have a vector, so the color is made of always like, um, Aman, it's called signed distance field, I think. Full form, signed distance fields, I think. Yeah. Vector 3 is, so the color is always R, G, and B, 3 values. So what if I can, animate this? Where are you? Where are you? Okay. I can animate this color like that. So R and G and B. So R and G and B. So I have a loop animation, and in this loop animation, I change my X. So I'm going to take the transition, and I'm going to change my X as a X. If I change the X, that's going to make it color from like red color account. Just change the X. Okay. So if I make it like a pack, and if I do that, so you'll see, if I have to connect it there, you'll see that, types of vector 4, and this is the getting alpha. Mhm. Okay, I think vector 4 should work. Okay, this has to make one. Yeah. So now I know that I'm changing a value, the red color to like a, so it's only changing the color from like lesser red to higher red like that. But I don't want to actually make it like super red. So I'll just transition this to maybe a lesser number, like number which is going from zero point 0.5 to zero point 0.8. Don't want to make it like super bright also. So and don't want to keep it to super dark as well. So that's gonna give me like a nice color. It's still getting a little bit dark. I think this is maybe zero point 0.7 to zero point 0.8, zero point 0.9 maybe. So that's gonna give me like a bright red color, and then I can also have it subtract. Why are you subtracting it? Okay, I can also have this uh, in my Y. So now it's going to be like a combination of those two colors. Then I can also multiply it by, let's say, 2 and then put it to my G. So my R, G, and B, I'm changing those colors, right? And this 2.2. And now I refresh it. You will see that there's a change of colors a little, it's not so visible. So let me go from 0 to zero point 0.9. So you can see that there's a change of color that's happening there. And I put it to 0.5. The red is not really so much prominent. So I'm going to not disturb it. Minus zero point 0.5. So yeah, now there's a different colors. So what I did is that simple that we change the vector 3 values by the how much changes we wanted in red and how much in the green and how much in the blue. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today, guys. um, I hope we did learn about native AI picker and also about SDFs, and we did talk about a few more things today. So I'm gonna put this file into the into the folder on Drive, and you can get it there. And let me put it right away because I'm gonna probably forget this. Well, that is it from me. Over to you, Lakshit. Lakshit, you're on mute, I think.
Okay, I'm sorry. So
Yeah,
Virender, it's already on YouTube, so you can just switch. You can just go through at any time with this video. Experiment with this criteria. Yeah, perfect. So one quick announcement from my side. So here is the assignment form link that I'm sharing again to you. So you have to fill your assignment. You have to put your assignment to this Google form. This is the submission link that I'm sharing. So you have to put your assignment link through this. And 25th May is the deadline for the assignment submissions. And you will get a mail regarding the assignment, what you have to make for your filter and all these things. And as Naveen sir said, if you will make something related to SDF, then it's a bonus. And okay, so yeah, so that's pretty much from our side. If anyone has anything doubt, so please feel free to share your doubts in the comment section. We are very happy to take your doubts. And otherwise, we can just wrap up the session right now. So yeah, so yes, okay. Someone was asking about the mail. Yeah, you will definitely get a mail with this form link, and along with the assignment details that you have to make. So just go through this, and I'm just resharing the drive link again. So if someone has missed the drive link, so please bookmark this link. As Naveen sir said, he will be putting all the links over here. Okay, so we have some issues. Okay, some questions.
How do we optimize the lag issue in the filters? Mahek, we will take this up in the next one because you have to be descriptive about that, and also have to like talk about some things.
Yeah, we are really sorry. We are just packed up with our deadlines, and our hands are tied because of some challenges with our so
Where do you
we
study,
can
Sashri? Where, what are you giving your exams for? We understand that those are important, um, but try to just maybe try to go through the assignment and see if you understand it well. It's